All right, this is the Maka SVT 160. This is a really nice machine. It's been gone through completely. The pneumatic is tip-top. The electrical is tip-top. Everything appears to be working as it should. I'm going to go through the operation of the machine. First thing to check is that all our bolts are tightened. So I grease the machine off camera here. Something you want to do every once in a while. Just a normal grease gun. Sorry, that was the compressor. All right, so these are the bolts you're going to need to check. We got this one here and this one here. These shouldn't move, but if they ever do, there's two more on the other side just like it. Go ahead and come around the other side so they can see what's going on. And then I got these two here on the top and two just like it on the bottom. And all these appear to be nice and tight. It's a good idea to check these as well. I think this is the right one. Yep. This isn't important for the function of the machine, but it is nice if it's not falling off. The head experiences a lot of vibration, so this is why we're doing this. That's just under normal operation. It's nothing special. It's just something that you should do. And excellent. This machine features the quick change head, which just requires these two bolts on either side, right? And this whole head assembly comes off and you can put a different head on. Occasionally these come up for sale on auction sites, eBay, Craigslist. You know, keep your eye out if you're interested in that sort of thing. But to change the blades, come on over to the front here. To change the blades, only two bolts. So unless you want a backup head, it's not really important. You just need blades. You take these two nuts off, you replace the blade, you put the two nuts back on, and you've got a different blade. You can have double blades, triple blades, blades that have a profile where it digs a much deeper part and then a shallower part all at once. Any machine shop should be able to make blades for you. It's just high-speed steel, right? And the adjustments for the machine, since we're in a close-up here, are right here. So what you do is you want to adjust this part and this part. This is separate. You just do that wherever you are. You can just turn this part. There's a line here that you're aligning to, and in here there's a knuckle. So the mechanism is actually two parts. It's like this, and as it goes around, the knuckle moves, right? So it's pivoting here. And it's gonna go around in an ellipse and take a shaving off every time it goes around, right? And so what this does is it adjusts how much it goes left to right. So you can get a bigger hole or a smaller hole. And this too does the same thing. Now, but to adjust this part, you have to loosen the two screws on the counterweight in here. Can you see this counterweight? You see this weight right here? If you look, there's two screws right there. Those align with these two holes on this side. If you can see this, these two screws take a 5mm wrench, Allen wrench, right? Once you loosen those up, you can put a wrench on this guy, and then you just jam that counterweight so that it doesn't move, and then you crank this to if you rotate it so that the arrow is pointing towards the plus, you get a bigger swing, so therefore a bigger mortise, a wider mortise. or if you adjust it to the minus, you get a smaller mortise, right? We've got this adjusted a certain way right now, and then what we did was we made a breakthrough fence. So let me come through. All right, so you can see here we got a small fence, and we broke through and made a mortise. So now we know exactly where our mortise goes. We took a square and drew some lines so that when I have a piece that I want to put a hole in, I can determine, okay, I want my hole right there. All right, then I come over here and I line my line up right there, and that's where my hole will be, okay? Now, these adjust up and down, so you can fit quite a big item in there. We're just going to leave that loose so that it's easy to load for the wood we're doing. You can also move these left and right relatively easily. They're a bit dry right now, but you could always grease those up if you're going to be moving them around a lot. These are the same. They adjust in and out and left and right. This front one can actually go the full width, but I don't know why you would want to do that unless, you know, it's a very strange piece. Of course, if you had to, you could move this way over or even off the machine and just use clamps to hold your part down, right? Like this here and then on the other side, okay? The table's actually really nice. And there is a door extension for the table. Okay, step back over here, please. All right, and if you come over here, this part, which includes a very nice ruler, which needs to be adjusted, but this bolts onto the side of the machine to help you do large doors. This machine is actually intended for doors. Basically, at the top and bottom of the door, you're going to want some pretty heavy mortise and tenon joinery to make a door really, really solid and square so that it never comes out of square or sags. And this helps you do that repeatedly. This part is just made out of aluminum, so it's not too heavy, but it's pretty big and awkward. So we're not going to put that on here today. But these are the bolts where it goes on, and they can be mounted on either side, as far as I know. Although I haven't actually tried that. I believe it can be, but I think you'd have to move the ruler to the other side to get it on the opposite side. Okay, so now come back over here. All right, so our head and our knife, everything is set up. I'm going to just double check, make sure everything's tight. I think I got everything else. So this guy comes down, and we're ready to start hooking up the pneumatic and the electrical. So here we go. We've got the pneumatic, and this machine comes with a really nice generous cord. It's 3-phase electrical, 250 American 3-phase, and it does not require a transformer or a phase converter. Well, you'll require a phase converter if you only have residential electric. But this machine is 250 Delta 3-phase. So we're all hooked up and ready to go. We've got our adjustment for the amount of mortise we want. The depth of the mortise is here. Very easy to adjust. You just loosen this. Come on. Okay, maybe it's the wrong size. It is the wrong size. There we go. All right. You can adjust your mortise like that, and then now your depth is less than it would have been. You can do, I think, about 2.5 inches when it's adjusted all the way out, and that means that if you've got a line that goes all the way across your piece, technically you can do a 5-incher by just doing one side and then flipping the piece over or should I say rotating your piece 180 degrees, and then you follow your line again, and you'll get two mortises that'll come together and meet in the middle, and you can do like 5 inches. So that's pretty cool. So we're going to start it up. That's just the indicator that shows you've got power. If the emergency button has been pushed, you're going to want to release it. That you just twist it, and then you hit machine on. Now, the machine on button will light the. I replaced these buttons with LED versions so that you're not getting bulbs that die on you. Step back a bit. That button means that the pneumatic is ready to go. So watch how it turns off when I disconnect the pneumatic. Alright. Now that machine is a little underpowered to run the machine, but it will do a full cycle with that machine. I just have to wait until it fills all the way up. Let's talk about chip removal and tipping. Chip removal, when you hit that button, it's supposed to run air through an extra hose. I think it's just stopped up at the moment. I don't have that connected because chip removal. You need a special blade that has a hole in it so that the air will actually go through the blade and then blow chips out from inside the mortise. I don't have one of those, so I haven't messed with that. But it should be fine. But if it's not, and it's important to you, let me know and we'll take a look at it. The tipping operation is fully functional. I know that for a fact. The way that works is when you hold down the start button, it starts to advance the head, and when you lift up the start buttons, it resets. It stops moving forward. It just goes back at that moment. We're going to run it with the tipping operation off, and I'm going to trigger it, and then I'll be able to remove my hands from the panel, and it will continue to advance the head. So just like this. All right, we're going to make a mortise. All right. There's our mortise. Not as deep as we wanted. Let me, I did adjust the mortise to be less deep. Okay, let's try another one. Take a look at where the line is. Now there's a little bit of breakout, they call that, I think. A little chip. You can get rid of that with a file or sandpaper or a chisel. But if you compare how much work that is, to what you would have to do manually, that's a piece of cake. So let's just make a new line. We will line up to our line, and we'll start over. So. Like I said, this compressor is a bit small for this machine. Alright, here we go. You know what? We're going to do a deep mortise, so I'm going to wait until it finishes. There we go. Notice my hand was always on the emergency stop in case something went wrong. And here we go. Let's take a look at our mortise. Look how nice that is. Real nice. Very deep. Very nice. Very rectangular. That's what we like to see. Now, I did that, and I spoke to you about how you could do a through hole up to 5 inches. Let me see Oh, this piece of wood is cracked. Not sure how that's going to work, but we got 3 3/4 inches here. Let's give it a try. The reason I brought this piece of wood over here was because it was cracked. Now that I think of it. Okay. All right. You got a good view? We're going to, first thing that's going to happen is the compressor's going to kick off. One thing you should do is every time you adjust the swing of the machine or change the blade, you should put a new breakout fence and do a breakthrough on a piece of scrap so that you know exactly where your hole is, and then draw your lines. So here we go. Look at that beautiful hole. Isn't that nice? Real nice. A little cleanup there, right? But that is a beautiful hole. A little cleanup right there. And yeah, quick work of mortises. You can get all kinds of different shapes of blade for this machine, and no blade is too big for this machine. It can do anything you would want to do. You could easily put a blade, put 2 of those blades, get a stacked blade that would make 2 holes at once. Or you could, like, let's say you had a thick piece of wood. Like, let's say your wood was this thick. You could put a hole here, a hole here, a hole here, and a hole here just by flipping the board over, right? And then you could rotate the board like this and do it again, and then you would have 4 through mortises, and you know, any kind of a door with this kind of joinery is going to be able to withstand 100 years of hanging off of hinges. No problem. No problem at all. It's in really good condition. It's permanently mounted to this, basically it's some pressure treated lumber here to keep it up off the floor. There's no vibration through the ground or anything. It's not that much vibration. It's pretty stable actually, even when it's running. It's very, very heavy machine, so it's not bouncing around or anything like that. It certainly never moves. It does come with a foot pedal. The foot pedal actuates the clamps. It does not actuate them at full capacity. It's really just a safety device. You can pre-clamp your item. So let's say you you really want to get it in place. You can hold it, clamp it, and then you can go over there and hit start. And you can be assured that you didn't hit start before you had it lined up properly. Because you can hit this as many times as you want. Oh, it's a little off, move it a little bit, get it where you want. And again, okay, yeah, it's really where I want it. And then you can reach over and hit the start button. Some minor items. This green knob here sets the speed of the head, right? How fast it advances. Of course, the more blade surface area you've got, the slower the speed you would want it to operate on. And if you were using a really small chisel, in the interest of time, you might want to speed it up. But it's adjusted for this particular blade right now. Oh, that's a good point. We've got some parts. All right, I think this is the box for this Maka. And we've got, no, that's a blade for a different Maka. Here we go. These are the blades that we've got for this Maka. Got an extra one of these. Got a few more blades. Plenty of blades. And all of these blades can be used to make different sized holes. some kind of other miscellaneous parts here. Big wrench, no idea what that's for. I'm not sure that it really goes with this machine. Yeah, here we go. Now all of this is high-speed steel tooling, so you know, you can sharpen this stuff up. That's still in the wax. It's never been used, right? So lots and lots of different holes that you can make. And again, all of these holes, you could make them double-sided, so you could have through tenon joinery on your pieces and, you know, look like you've spent many, many hours doing some beautiful mortises, and you know, really all you did was hit a couple of buttons and wait a few seconds, and it's a really nice machine. I hate to get rid of it, but the truth is we don't do doors. So I bought it because I had a guy who really needed to get rid of it, and I didn't exactly like the idea of buying a machine at the price that he was selling it at that was broken. But I took a good look at it, and I thought that I could probably fix it, and I did. So it's really running nicely right now. Very reliable machine. I don't know how much it's been used actually, but it doesn't appear to have been in production for all that long. I would have expected there to be, you know, more wear in certain places, and there's extremely little wear. Like this ruler over here. There we go. I mean, that ruler isn't worn. Now, could they have replaced that ruler? Yeah, but I just don't think this machine has really seen that much use. The electronics, you know, the parts that I replaced were they used to be light bulbs, and I thought that was frustrating because, you know, if a bulb goes out, you think there's something wrong with the machine, and it's just a bulb. So I replaced them with LEDs right away. And you know, the pneumatics, of course, the hoses, they just age whether you use them or not. So I replaced all the really old hoses. So you should be able to get 10 years of actual use out of this machine, no problem. All right. So at the moment, this machine is on Craigslist in Dallas. So go to Dallas Craigslist and look it up to see the current price. I have a couple other Makas for sale as well. Let me know if you're interested. Thank you.